Hey guys, what's up? Lone Berserker here, and this is a commentary 1 versus 1 battle. I'm SUEBI against Misazely. Now, at first glance, this is my normal build. However, there has been a drastic change. So I bow to the feminine demands of my comment section, and I purchased the Kimberly Bowwomen and the Wolf Warrior DLC packs. I am now $6 in debt, and I am asking for your financial support. Okay, so basically this is the same exact army I used before, but instead of Germanic Slingers, I got the Kimberly Bowwomen, and instead of Round Shield Swordsmen, I have the Wolf Warriors. Wolf Warriors are freaking tough. So my opponent here has 3 Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers, which, by the way, that was a relief, and I'll tell you why in a second. 2 Slingers, 2 Slave Infantry, a mix of Desert Cohort and Legionnaires, making a freaking strong front line here. Then he's got the Heavy Numidian Skirmisher General and 4 Armored Numidian Riders. So there's a reason why I say seeing these Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers was a relief. And that's because I was kind of afraid using this build against Misazely, because when I play Misazely, I bring 3 Heavy Numidian Skirmishers, Armored Riders. They're basically a medium armored cavalry unit that throws javelins, and they're tough. They're very good for late game. They would have creamed these Scout Riders without even looking twice at it. So when I saw Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers, I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna have a much better time against this build than I would have if someone had brought the 3 Armored Numidian Riders. So I am taking lots of casualties here, but I've said this before, and I'll still do this, even though it's probably a bad idea. I use my Germanic Scout Riders very offensively in terms of just trying to engage my opponent in melee. It's a double-edged sword, because if it works, you'll eradicate most crappy horse skirmish cavalry, but you're just going to get shot to death in the process of doing it. So it's definitely it's a risky strategy, but you know, I'm all about that. So I do have this one down to 25 already, so that was enough for me. Now the main plan here was just to kill as many as possible and make him waste as much ammo as I could. So that is something I was focusing on. Now another thing I should add is this is my first time using this army, this specific army here, and it's basically a copy of Sol Invictus's SUEBI army. We literally have the exact same build, and I'm pretty sure we're the only 2 people in the world who use this build. At first glance it looks ridiculous, honestly, but once you actually figure out how to use it, it's so freaking fun. So squaring up against this army, I was going up against a pretty good player. I have seen this guy around a few times, although I actually haven't seen him in a while, but I've seen him in the past a few times. He's a very good player. And that's what scared me the most about him, because I knew he could beat me, because he's beaten me in the past. So I'm kind of going slowly up here, thinking about a way on how I'm supposed to beat this guy, who is... I was positive in my head he was better than me, but I had high hopes, because I was excited to use the army here. So I'm moving forward, nothing real special, and you can see with the Scout Riders, I just let them die, because, I mean, the key here is they've wasted 3 units that have vital ammunition that can change this game. And that is important enough for me to just sacrifice my Scout Riders, because they don't matter. So you can see immediately my opponent wants to engage my right, because I had actually moved it forward and I was just about to engage him, but I decided not to do that and not to allow him to pick the engagement that he wants, and I'm going to do that this entire game. So I got the Kimberly Bowwomen shooting. I know it's Slave Infantry and Tribal Slingers, but I'm fine with that. Honestly, anything that gets shot is a unit I don't have to fight later, and that's how I always think with my ammunition. In my opinion, whatever you hit is whatever you hit, and you're killing something useful. So he's got this unit behind me, which I didn't know if it had ammo or not. I was positive it didn't. Also, my Kimberly Bowwomen decided to go on a walk here and actually almost get killed. So I had to quickly run them back. Also, look at this. I do manage to engage these Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers. I will lose, but you know what? did it just for fun, and I didn't even care about that unit anymore. Now I'm going to charge here with the Noble Riders, thinking I could get a quick charge on his Slave Infantry, but I realized that he's got too many javelins here. He will just eat me alive with javelin fire, so I decided to fall back, and now you can see I'm pushing with this flank. And we're basically rotating here, and look, he just used more ammo, so that Scout Rider already got its worth. I get a good volley on the Slave Infantry and drop it down to 110 in one volley, so that was pretty good. And I'm getting shots on the Tribal Slingers, and I'm killing a few of them. Obviously, the Tribal Slingers are an unit. They're okay, they're just there basically to get shot, and, you know, that's what, if my opponent wants that, you know what, I'll give it to him. So I'm going to push this way. I'm going to fall back. I lost my micro here for a second. And I think I get javelined. No, I don't, but I do. Wait, Slave infantry don't have javelins. What am I talking about? I do the same thing here because I just wanted this unit out of the way. It was just annoying, honestly. And I didn't want to have to use one of my, you know, good units on it. But again, same thing. He just scares me away with the javelins. And he's also got cav there. However, oh crap. That was way closer than I thought it was. Jeez, I didn't even think he got the javelin volley off. I did not know that. That was close. Too close. I do catch the Gaetuli horse skirmisher that literally fought to the death. And now I'm aiming for the Desert Legionaries here, or Cohort, whichever one I hit was fine by me. These freaking Kimberly bowwomen are deadly units, and look at this. I am getting so many vital shots. These are important, by the way, because these are strong units that are just being devastated before they even touch my front line. I'm going to continue to aggressively push here, and you can see my opponent has his plan in mind. He wants to flank me, and I am not going to allow that to happen. I can't, because this army gets flanked, and it's kind of screwed. I was going to go for a javelin volley, but he had that desert cohort right there, so I decided to pull back more. And you can see we're literally just going in a circle. I'm going one way, he's going the other way, and I'm not falling into his trap here. I don't want to take this engagement at all. I want to take the one over here. Now, you might be saying, why not just quickly deal with this unit that's very exposed? Well, he's got 4 cav units on my flank. In the amount of time it's going to take me to kill that unit, those cav units are going to be behind me, and that flank is then going to be taking more attack from the rest of his army, so that's why I wasn't just quickly wiping that unit out, although I did have thoughts of doing that. So, it's Kimberly bowwomen getting more shots on these desert cohort, and look at how fast they kill, man. I don't know what it is. I feel like they do more damage than regular archers, but that's just my opinion. You can see I'm getting so many vital shots on these units. It's just devastating, absolutely. So now I decide, in a second here actually, I decide to go balls to the walls and just unleash some fury on this man. I don't know why this kept happening. It's so annoying. They just won't shoot, and you can tell I'm giving an order over and over again, and I finally just give up. Give him a movement order instead. So I get another shot on the desert cohort and bring it down to 116. He's coming up here. I retreat actually, and I do suffer a javelin volley. Sadly, the poor spear levy, they just, look at that. Dude, that's they almost killed freaking 20 guys. Jeez, it's actually a lot. So, I'm still running back here, but I do fight him. We do battle here in a second. So, finally, I'm like, alright, we're gonna fight here. This is where I want to fight. I got you right where I want you. You're all clumped up, and you're at my mercy, basically. So, I'm still running away from this area. I do not want to fight him there. I want him here, because now this is exactly where all my troops are, and I'm ready for it. I'm prepared to fight him. He's not. He still wants to go over here, which he's going to find out in a second. That's not what's going to happen. So, Spear Levy, go forward, easily wipe out the Slave Infantry. That unit's basically just there to die. I accidentally run my Bloodsworn forward. I immediately give him an order to fall back. I don't know why I did that. Shooting the cohort in the back there. Stuff is going to get explosive in a second here, so I'm going to slow it down in a minute. I use Fast Charge in the center. That'll give me the advantage in this coming fight. And he actually does. I saw this, but I was just like, you know what? I'm too lazy to click. Let him get the charge on my Spear Levy. I don't care. So arrows going in. I decided to combine a Wodenaz with the Noble Rider here. Probably not a good idea. Probably should use the Wolf Warrior because he's got that. Here we come. We're charging in the center here with the combination of the Spear Levy, my general, and all these fast charge Bloodsworn. We are going to eat the center alive very quickly here, and this unit is going to suffer some serious damage. I do a lot of hurt on that Desert Legionnaire. I use Pride in the center. I attack over here too. So I'm just attacking everywhere at this point. My opponent cannot control the battlefield anymore. This is exactly what I want. So I'm going to start cycle charging immediately. This is vital, by the way, to cycle charge the Bloodsworn because they're fast charged and they're going to do as much damage. They're going to do most of the damage right now on the battlefield. So I have my general here and I have all these support units moving over. This desert cohort is already down to 56 with a Noble Rider and a Wolf Warrior. And the Wolf Warrior hasn't lost a single casualty. I still got this reserve Wodenaz about to move up. Then I've got this Spear Levy coming forward. I circle back with the Noble Rider there to defend my flank from that unit, but it'll take me a minute because he gets stuck on the Wolf Warrior, so I just kind of left him there. He does go for a fight here, but this is kind of a mistake because if he engages me, my Kimberly Bowwomen have spears and they can fight in melee. Not really good, but they can still fight in melee. And you can see I'm pulling out and psycho-charging with the Bloodsworn, and my opponent is not pursuing me, and this is very bad because he needs to. He does get my general with his general, because I didn't realize his general was a skirmish unit. I thought it was a cavalry. He almost kills my general there, which would have sucked, but he didn't, thankfully. So here come the Bloodsworn once again. Sadly, I waited too long, and they no longer have fast charge, but that's fine, because they're still going to get a good charge, and these units are very low anyway, suffering from the combat here. Spear Levy with a combination of the Wodenaz and the Noble Rider are just going to tear this flank up. This flank's basically over for my opponent. He tries to attack me, but he is going to have to get past a Wodenaz and a Noble Rider and a Spear Levy, which I'm all just pouring onto his cavalry. And his cavalry was the greatest unit he had on this field. He could have absolutely torn me apart with it. But I was able to lure him into just sacrificing it in pointless engagements, which just favored me. Now he does almost get around me here and get into my Kimberly Bowwomen, but I still have the Wodenaz, which I can easily move into position there. Wolf Warrior tore this first cohort, desert cohort, apart. There is this big fight in the center, but this is just favoring me, and I am eventually going to win that once I get the wings overrun, which I already have on this side. I'll turn the Kimberly Bowwomen if I need to into the center. This Bloodsworn just broke through, so he can now support there. Cav is still moving around, but it's not going to come on time. Now, at this point, I am shooting the armored Numidian Riders. I don't really need to, but this Wolf Warrior is kind of getting its butt kicked right now. This Desert Legionnaire is basically off the field, and all the other Legionaries, freaking heavy melee infantry, are losing to light melee infantry. You know what? Take some shrooms before battle, and you're sure to win. So at this point, it's over. My opponent has been defeated, and I was very happy with the way I played this, and I was very proud of myself because I had some doubts using this army. I was very, you know, afraid, kind of, like, timid, I guess you could say, that it wasn't going to end well, but it did, and now my fears are washed away, so at this point the battle is over, and my opponent's units are just cracking. They can't handle it anymore. I got the center just plugged with units. He does basically just sacrifice all his cav at this point against my Wodenaz here. So my opponent's army wasn't bad. I just don't agree with the Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers because it's not that they were misused, it's just they suck. Once they're added javelins, that's basically it. They can barely take on skirmishers, and they would have had a rough time against my Kimberly Bowwomen because of their spears. So this army that I have basically copied from Sol Invictus is flippin' amazing. And hats off to him for making it. This is just an incredible freaking army. Honestly, it's just so strong. Now, obviously, you can be easily beaten with it, just as quickly as you can win with it, because it's very difficult to work with, honestly. I actually did get a lot of friendly fire here. My opponent killed 660 of my men, but I lost 700, meaning that I shot 40 of my own men in the back. You know, it's the women. This is what happens when you put Kimberly Bowwomen on the battlefield. I'm gonna get so much freaking hate for saying that. Okay, never mind. Just forget what I just said. But you can see the combination of the Wolf Warriors, the Wodenaz Spears, the Bloodsworn, and Kimberly Bowwomen is just so much damage being put in per second that you don't even have the time to think your strategy through. And that is basically the whole point of this army, is to do damage and to do it quickly, because you can't win and engage in prolonged melee. Although the Wolf Warriors, once these were added, these really do change SUEBI. They're 700, but they're a mix between Bloodsworn and Swordmasters, and this is the type of unit I flippin' love. It's got a 10 versus infantry. What's its armor piercing? It's got 9 armor piercing. I think that's the same as the Bloodsworn. Yes, so that is incredible by itself, and I think the Berserkers, do they have... Oh, they only have 5. So that makes them basically better than the Berserkers, but no one uses Berserkers anymore because they just can't be used without spaghetti lines. And if you don't know what I mean, older, I guess you could say veterans that used to play this game, you could stretch your units out until I think they were 1 man thin, 1 or 2 men thin, and so berserkers were obviously freaking perfect because every single guy got his charge bonus off when they would charge. They were very good, but obviously with the loss of the spaghetti lines, it just doesn't work anymore, sadly. Now, I do have mixed feelings about the spaghetti lines, but that's besides the point. So the Wolf Warriors, also, you have frenzy charge, so I guess if you could even do more freaking damage on a charge if you wanted to. But with the addition of the Cambry Bowwomen, and the Wolf Warriors, this becomes an incredible army. It really is strong, like unbelievably strong, if used correctly. Now, there's still some factions I would not use it against. I wouldn't use it against the Hellenic faction, and I mean that when I say it. I've just never beaten one with SUEBI, so. But against barbarians and like Romans, this is an awesome army, and I love the Wolf Warriors. They can be used in a lot of different ways, because they really do give SUEBI a mid-tier infantry that can last in melee, and obviously, that being said, they still only have 20 armor, which obviously every SUEBI unit basically lacks in armor, but their melee infantry really does lack in it. So that is all. I guess through the power of femininity, we have been able to destroy our manly opponents. Okay, that's enough. I'm done, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.